We're going 3, 2, 1. Hello, we are live. um, I am Justine Broker, and this is my dear friend. I'm going to put your name up there. So I'm just going to make sure that we're live in the group here. Just give me 2 seconds. You know how I got you guys and me and technology sometimes go round and round. And before I start talking, I want to make sure that we're in it. Okay, so I had the pleasure of working with Sandra for 4 sessions, I believe, 3, 4 sessions. And those of you who know me know that the spiritual journey is kind of a new thing for me. So when I heard I was working with Crystal and she recommended that I reach out to this beautiful woman about Akashic Records, because it's a very, very, very powerful, I don't want to say experience, but, you know, it really woke me up to my spirituality in a whole new level and really made me kind of understand the dark things that I was kind of avoiding and then allowing me to release them. So I want to thank you so much for being here with us today. I'm so excited because I think this is going to be a game changer for a lot of women in here. So if you wouldn't mind just sharing who you are and what you do, and we'll just have fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much for allowing me to come in and share. And it truly, truly, truly is my honor and my privilege to be able to guide you through that. You know, I consider myself a sacred guide. My purpose in life is to help beautiful souls connect to their divine wisdom so that they can amplify their gifts, right? Connect to the vision that lives in their hearts, connect to God, source, universe, and really remove these invisible shackles that we place upon ourselves, right? So that we can then move into the world fully and authentically as we're meant to in this world, and receiving anything and everything you want in life. You know, there's so many people with this mentality of lack and scarcity, and it's you're the reason the flow isn't coming in is because you're blocking yourself, right? Because money's always showing up. Money is constantly flowing, but if it's not showing up in your life, you want to take a look at that. So I am Sandra Dominguez, and I am an intuitive empowerment coach. I'm also an Akashic Records practitioner, Akashic energy clearing healer practitioner. I do a lot of other modalities. You know, I'm also a warrior goddess facilitator. I try and bring women back to owning who they are, right? They're a goddess within. You'll always hear me say several things. You'll always hear me say, acknowledge your beautiful soul. I will always acknowledge your soul, because for me, that's what I see first. I don't see anything on the outside. I look past you and I go and I see your divine soul, because that's what shows up. The second thing I'll always say is, you know, God has jokes, right? Because he does, like, you know, he loves to show you those little triggers or patterns. And that's his way of saying, hey, see this thing that I gave you like 3 times in 3 different varieties with all these different people? That's the thing I need you to look at. And so it's like, yes, let's dive deep. Let's go in there. Let's heal that. You know, and it's I always find it, I love to be in that space, but only because it's really magical to be in your space, and I get to connect with your soul, your angels and guides, and really see where are all these little stories coming from. You know, your soul is thousands and thousands of years old. Everyone has that gift. Everyone is a divine channel. The thing is that you're not doing that is because you've blocked yourself off somehow. Somehow you've done something where you've disconnected till that part, or you've learned that, or you brought that from a different lifetime. And so our goal is to, let's see what that is. What is that? You know, and then go in there and connect to that and really heal that. Let it go, transmute it, forgive it, whatever. And then bring all of that into this lifetime, to the present, so that you can go out and really be out there like shining brightly, right? Because we allow other people to dim our lights, right? We conform into these little boxes. I'm like, no, you don't conform.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. And I just want to touch base on the stories, because this was really mind blowing for me. You know, like as I'm expanding my spirituality and these different modalities, the Akashic records really hit me in a different place, because I was looking at stories. I don't know if you remember. Vash, oh, what was his name? It was right on my tongue, and then I lost it. But the gentleman in my Akashic record who lost the love of his life,
Yes.
and then committed suicide, or she committed suicide, and then he was just devastated.
Yes.
And it was this pain and suffering and betrayal almost, and worth that he was holding on to, that I was still carrying today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember you walked me through this like a ritual to release him with a white candle and flowers, and I just remember this weight being lifted when I was out, doing the final release, just this weight. So you said everyone has Akashic records, right?
Everyone has Akashic records, because it's what I consider the Akashic records is the DNA of your soul. So your soul, everyone has an Akashic records, because all your stories, all your lifetimes, everything has been stored in a particular place. And your Akashic records are really the place where all those stories. So usually when you go in there, I always go in and I'm like, oh look, it's like it could be like a series of scrolls, or it could be a series of books. It all depends on, because everybody's Akashic records are different and their guides are different. So every time I go in, it's always like a really new experience for me. Like as soon as I go in, I'm like, oh well, here we go. Like, and this is what I'm hearing, and it's like you're going like this, and you're going like this, and you're like this, and I'm like, but I love that, because it's like, oh yeah, let's go in, and then everybody shows up, and sometimes I laugh, because depending on the person's records, there are like some guides, like when you go in and the guardians are like, oh thank God you're here, come help me. She's not listening, and I just laugh. I'm like, yeah, okay, I got it. Let me okay, and I love that, because they try so many different ways to try and get your attention. And if you're not really noticing that, it's like, it's like you're just tripping yourself. When things show up, mayhem happens or whatever, it's because you're not in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing, right? And a couple of days ago, or maybe a week ago, I don't remember, but I was doing like a reading, and as I'm doing everyone's reading, it was like so weird, because I'm like, oh my God, like this whole reading for everybody here is about control. But when you let go of control is when you allow God, source, universe, your angels and guides to do the work. I always say, really, you want to micromanage God? How's that working for you? Like, right. Seriously, it's not.
No,
like,
it doesn't work.
Go, trust and surrender. And the reason why you can't trust, surrender, and allow is those are stories that are blocking you. That's how you can tell. And so I always listening, and I always listen, and I'm like, oh, and then like their guides just like show up, and they're like, listen, she's not doing blah, 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 whatever, and I'm like, and I'm just listening, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, and they're like, they make faces, right? Because they're like, no, you have to tell her, like she's really not paying attention. I'm like, well, your guides want you to know that you're not noticing, that thing that they told you about that's in the corner of your house and whatever on the side that you were supposed to go ahead and get rid of, but you haven't because you've been going around loops and loops and loops. Yeah, that thing, that's the thing that they want you to go ahead and take care of so that they can do the next step. And then I always throw people off because they're like, are you in my house?
I had a few of those moments working with you. Like, there's no way you could have known that. There's no way that, yeah. I mean, it's amazing what we hold on to and what we allow to keep us barricaded. Yes. Whether it's fear, facing the fear, or kind of just allowing yourself to trust and believe, like you said, that's a big struggle.
Yes, yes. And those are things that are, you know, people don't realize that when we come into the world, babies are very intuitive. Ever see a baby? They have language issue, you know, like they're having this language and conversations. You don't see anyone, but they're like, and they're looking at someone. Okay, when they're doing that, and they go on and they go on and they go on, it's because they're already opened and intuitively connected, right? What happens is as they're growing up, we allow them to be cut off because now they're learning things like what they learn from maybe their parents, their grandparents at school, society, who knows. And then we start cutting that off, and now we can't even trust ourselves, right? It's like,
Right.
but everybody feels something, right? You
Yeah.
feel it. You feel your intuition. Your intuition will find a way. Your soul will always find a way to communicate with you, and it will always show up. That tightening in your throat because you're not speaking your truth, or you're being disempowered. That pain in your stomach when you're like, "Oh, I'm supposed to do, but I can't," or whatever. Somebody's pushing you in the wrong direction. When someone you love the closest, a relative, a spouse, whatever, and they feel like they just stabbed you in your chest, all those are triggers. All those are stories. We got to go in there and feel like, okay, well, what is that? What is that? What is that?
It's and I have a question here I'm going to show. This is Margie. She's in the group. She's a mama, wife, and she was just wondering during the journey with you in meditation, do they see what you see?
No, unless it's a soul journey. So like if I do a soul journey, then I'm guiding you to that and you see it for yourself. When it's in Akashic records, it's I'm seeing all of it and I'm just receiving all the information, and all of that just comes through, and then I tell you, and you then check in and you'll feel it, notice it, and acknowledge it because it'll be true to you, right? Your records are true to you. Soul journeys, I bring in soul journeys only when I know that it's something pertaining to this particular lifetime, but I also attach it to your Akashic records too, because if we do soul journeys, we want to take care of that here in this lifetime. We do Akashic clearings because we're removing it from your energetic aura, right? So removing it from your chakras, from when you originated that particular story, in which lifetime. That's why Akashic records are so important, because they'll show us, well, you learned to do that in whatever timeline you did. Now you're carrying it. So now we'll do it here where we remove it from that timeline. We'll do a soul journey so we can remove it from this lifetime. You know, we could do it too in the records, but I always think it's important that you notice, and it's kind of like I'm teaching you also how to do it for yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Because we can't see our own blind spots. So it's important for us to be able to reach out to someone who will help us see the blind spots. Like, I have blind spots. Like, I can go in, I've gone in, I've healed a lot of stuff, but then there are some things where I'm like, oh, but this thing. And then I'm like, okay, I need to get someone to like see my blind spot because I can't see past that.
Yeah.
Then I'll go ahead. And also, like, when you heal yourself, like, people think that, oh yes, we've done this and we've healed, that's enough. No, you have to keep going, because your heart's vision is a person you've never been in your life. So you have to continue to grow your container to get there. That's mama life, okay? That's
I know.
awesome.
The furry one.
You know that he loves these vibes, right?
He does. He was always in my office when we were.
I've noticed that every time I work with someone and they have a furry friend, all the furry friends come. Like, they all show up. And she's like, look. We're having a session. She says, I want you to show, look. She's right up her leg. But it's because they love the energy. It helps them feel relaxed and they feel so calm.
Yeah.
Around it. But yeah.
Definitely. And on your point too of, it's continuing to work. Like, it's been a couple of months since I've worked with either you or Crystal. And I can definitely notice how it's harder for me to ground myself. It's harder for me, I'm going to have to revisit that again, because I felt so aligned with what was true to me.
Yeah.
And the last time, or our last session, we actually went back to my lifetime. Do you remember that with my
Yes.
mom?
Yes.
Which was totally unexpected. And it was like, I do remember, like, you were there with me, like you were there walking me through it. And it was different from our Akashic readings previously. So, oh, I have goosebumps. It was I can't even explain, like, if anyone's ever wanted to visit this, I put 1000% confidence in Sandra here, because you just made me feel so comfortable, because I was scared at first, like I didn't know what to expect. Past lives, like that kind of freaked me out, but you just made it such a comfortable, trusting experience that.
Oh, I appreciate that. That's how I hold my containers. And I tell a lot of my clients, especially my one-on-one, is that I hold a loving container. I'm not here to judge you. That's not my job. Okay, it's not. That's God's job, and even He doesn't do it. My job is to hold a sacred container, to love you unconditionally, so that you can understand this is where we need to allow ourselves to open up and be vulnerable. Okay, I'm not here because if we can't be vulnerable, then we're going to really have a session that's going to be full of resistance. And I've had lots of those where I could see your walls, I can feel your walls. It's so draining because it's like I have to consistently like keep bringing all this positive energy into the session so that you can receive. But if you're so resistant to it, nothing I say is going to get through that. What ends up happening, and I tell them, it's okay if you don't really resonate with anything I'm saying, but I promise you in a few days, in a week, it will all click in, it will all make sense, and it does. Like they'll come back like 2 weeks later, they're like, oh my God, I finally got it. I was like, awesome, I'm so glad, thank you.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've got another question here. Does past lives showing up in current reality, does this translate to the next lifetime once removed in the Akashic? Is it gone forever?
When you remove it in the Akashic records, what you're doing is I like to remove it from its original source, right? So I'm going to, when you first created that attachment, that cord, whatever it is that's stuck there, that you brought to this lifetime. And so we're doing that so that you don't bring it in the next lifetime. Will there be some other like similarities to it? Yeah, because you probably created something else similar to that, but on a different level. And so then we would also have to then go into that. But I'm all about clearing as many things as I can in this lifetime. So when I come back, I don't have to go through all of this. Because my life is like, what? If I sat and told someone my whole life story, people just look at me like, how could you go through that? But my soul is so resilient. I know in the depths of who I am is that I am a goddess warrior, like, and a heart goddess warrior, okay? Because it's all about unconditional love. It's all about forgiveness. It's all about like integrity and justice, and it's empowerment. I cannot see, I used to go around saying, look at these dream vampires, like they're like only sucking the life out of people, because they would just automatically start telling people, oh, you can't do that, and you can't be that, and I'm like, wow, why are you putting your negativity onto this person? Like, don't do that, don't do that. It's so wrong at so many levels. It would really piss me off. I mean, I've literally had people say to me, but why would you give her that? Like, why would you send her off to go to school and learn? Don't you, she's good here. And I was like, if you loved her, then you would be empowering her to go and do what she wants, empowering her to say, yes, go after your dreams.
Right.
And the only other tidbit I can get to people is stop taking advice from people who have never done it, who have never taken the leaps, who have never gotten a coach, or who's never done the things. Like, stop taking their advice. Stop taking their beliefs. Okay? No, you need to find people who can uplift you and support you and inspire you. And I promise they're out there. Okay? And you know what it is? because we're still human and we feel like our family unit is the unit that should be the ones that are supporting us the most. Not everyone in our family is going to be rah-rahing you, okay? Those are the ones that are looking at you like, what is she up to? What is
Yeah.
that? And all you have to say, and this is why boundaries, everyone must have, like, you got to know your boundaries. You
Yep.
got to know your boundaries, your non-negotiables. Just because your mom said whatever, you simply have to say, I love you unconditionally, but what you're saying is not mine, and I'm not going to take it on. Right? I'm not. I used to be a people pleaser. I used to do whatever my mom wanted me to do, and then it was so draining. It was so out of alignment until I started my own spiritual journey. And once I realized that my mom was my teacher, I love my mom, and I honor her journey because she's raising me with her limited experience that she has. And the day that she said to me, I did the best that I could, I'm sorry, that was like a gift to me, you know? And
Right.
even though she loves to like try and push those buttons, because I have solid boundaries, I don't tolerate it. And it's just like, you know what? I don't understand what you're talking about, but I'll come back in just a minute, you know? So I'll either remove myself, I gotta go to the bathroom, like, remove myself to like take in deep breaths, right? Like, oh, she's just pushing those nerves. And I come back and I'm like, you know, Mom, I don't know what you're talking about, but that's not mine. But thank you. Let's go on to the next thing. Does
Oh,
that like trigger her a little bit? Sure, but but she knows that I'm in a place where I'm just not going to tolerate. So she's like, "Oh, okay, whatever." And she just goes somewhere else. So she knows that she can't push me. She can't push me anymore, you know? And I love her and I honor her because I know she's doing the best that she can. She is doing the best, but it's not my job to save her. She has her own spiritual guides and teams and angels to do that. My job is to just love her unconditionally as she is. You know,
yes.
I
Oh,
call her. My mom is
yes. That was a big thing I took away working with you too,
yes,
is just letting people be who they are and just love them where they're at. And I don't need to prove myself to anyone. I don't need to explain myself to anyone. Like, our connection was just so divine. And when I get really excited and I talk about it, but people kind of looked at me like,
I know, but that's because people won't get it,
mm-hmm.
and that's okay. But that's because they're not ready to receive that
Right.
message. And so it's not our job. I'm not here to convince you. That's not my job. I'm not the convincer. My job is simply to show you the way, to be the guide, to show you how you need to remove all these things, but also to learn how to heal yourself, to do it for yourself. So you
Right.
could then go out and share your magic with other people. Everyone is needed. Everyone is wanted. There is somebody in this entire planet praying for you. Show up. Show up. Someone needs your voice, your magic, your dance moves. Okay? Because that makes them happy. You
Right.
understand? You make them happy. That doesn't mean that no one is watching. Everyone is watching. They're just not going to say it, right? And the only people who will have something negative to say are the ones that are triggered by what you're doing. That's all.
Yeah,
That's all.
absolutely. And clearing clearing my records definitely helped me with that, because it was like I had my own stories from this lifetime, but then you have like lifetime, 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 lifetime. Like, I think when we worked together, it was pretty much the same story, but in different
Yes.
contexts. So,
Yes.
and it was a deep wound. It was that trust. It was that
Yes.
the allowing yourself to be loved and to loving others. And I just remember even walking out of my office after we'd meet, and Justin would be like, "You look light,"
I
like
love
he could just tell in my face like the difference of um my demeanor. It's just it's so beautiful, and you
it.
are such a gift, such a gift.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm really honored to be able to do this. And I want everyone to be able to really just show up who you really, why are we're like carrying these things. That's why I call them invisible shackles, right? Because aren't you tired? Isn't it weighing you down? Aren't you exhausted? Like, how much of this can you carry? And what I love is, And I was saying this to another client before. I'm doing this program, and I was doing a training, and in the training, my mentor said, "Help always arrives. Help always arrives." And this is her. She goes, "Your house is on fire. Your house is on fire. Are you going to wait to call the firemen to take out the fire in your home? No." She goes, "You're going to call the firemen to come and take care of the fire. And yet, when it comes to your own spiritual home, this temple, this home, you always want to wait.
Yeah.
You wait until your spiritual temple's on fire. And you still wait. And you still wait. Until when? Until now, it's ablaze, it's almost gone, and then you realize, I gotta do something. Why would you wait? Signs always appear, help always appears, but people take on their circumstances as their reality. Everyone is abundant. If you're not abundant, is there's something you're blocking yourself off from, right? If you're not receiving love, there's something there that you're blocking off. But you have to consistently nurture that, go in, take care of it, heal it, do whatever you need to do to get you to where you want to be. I got here because I invested in myself. I love myself on a whole different level. 10 years ago, you can talk to me about no self-care. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
We don't got no time. It's selfish. You know, the kids need something. I don't got time. And if you did it, you were resentful. Like you weren't even enjoying it because in your mind you're like, I should have been doing dinner. I gotta be doing this. So even though you're like, yeah, I'm doing the self-care. No, because if you're bringing those negative thoughts, that's not self-care. You're doing it with resentment. That's another attachment, right? Yes. You should be like, I deserve this massage. I deserve this time by myself, right? Which is why I call everyone goddesses, right? I call women beautiful souls and goddesses because I want you to remember who you truly are. Who you truly are. And God's not going to love you like when you lose 20 pounds. I'm going to love her when she loses those 10 pounds. Or I'm going to love her, you know, when she jumps off that cliff that I told her to do like 5 years ago. He loves you all the time, like all the time. And he sends you like your own spiritual team, your own guides, your own angels. That's his gift to you. Your intuition is a gift to you that he gives to you. But you block yourself off. So then, don't you want to tap into that unlimited source, that gift that he gives you that's yours for free? Because it's yours. There's like nothing. You're like, right. You're the one that doesn't allow it in. I'm in like that space where I know that for me to get to the life that I want, I need to embody who that person is, right? So I take myself, or I get my mentor to she'll take us to a heart journey, connect to my heart's vision. Because your vision is not the full vision that he has for you. You're only going to see up to here. But what he does is that he makes you see it out of there. And then you're like, whoa. Yeah. Whoa, who's that person? And then, you know, connecting to that person to hear what's blocking you. Why can't you get there? Who are the people that you're meant to serve? And bringing that into this lifetime and taking those steps and connecting often. That's why connecting to your higher self is important. She knows why you're here.
Right.
You know, talking to her. Look at her in the mirror. I always say, look at her in the mirror, eyeballs to eyeballs, because that's the only way you can really see your higher self.
Yeah.
And you tell her how much you love her or what it is that you need. It's really profound. You know, we go around hating our bodies. Like, this temple is sacred.
Right.
Sacred temple, but we're telling it, oh, we're to this, we're to that, but this body is what's moving you through the world. Can we thank it for a moment? Can I thank you for healing me when I couldn't figure out what was wrong, right? When I had the COVID, I'm so thank you. Thanking the body, hold this body that gives birth to children. Thank you.
Yeah.
For doing what you do naturally. The body will love you back. The body will love you back. The body loves you all the time. Why do you hate it? You know, we get these perceptions of, no, we got to be this person. No, just be you. However you want to show up in the world.
Right. Yeah. And when you love yourself on that level, you receive things in such a different way, like in an effortless almost like it's like synchronicity, you know, like things just appear and you see signs and you're just more aware of how you're feeling and
things show up. Things show up. I've been in alignment, and I'm telling you, like, I used to have lack and scarcity in my life. Debt. Listen, COVID. My money is on point. Money has shown up out of the blue, like really out of the blue. I received a $200 gift card for an affiliate thing that I didn't even remember about. I got another $200 for another affiliate thing that I didn't even remember about. But that's because I'm in alignment with the fact that I'm open to receiving. And when you do that, it shows up. It shows up in different ways. I got a box of vegetables and fruit. I'm receiving all the time. Like,
right.
even food. I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you. I got this bracelet in the mail. I'm like, thank you. Thank you. And it was so funny because I said, I need another crystal bracelet.
Surprise! Here you go.
Surprise! But see, it shows up. You ask and you will receive. I know, because one time I was trying to do this program and I was like, but I'm on a budget. And she said, I offer payment plans. I was like, I'm going to reach out, right? Because he's like, just reach out. I got you. And I was like, okay, God, got you. I just sent out an email. I was looking about your program. I was wondering about your payment plan. She's like, yeah, it's a 6-month program. For the same money that I had said I allotted myself for the program. Okay? Come on. That's right there. I love it.
He's something else. He's
awesome. That's so good. Confirmation that it was true.
Right? Just a doodle walking around with a blanket,
Yeah, that's all good. Like, celebrate everything. Every single thing. And like, when you were celebrating yourself and everything, didn't you notice how everything in your life just shifted in a different way?
It did. And we connected at such a wonderful time because I was going through transitions, like working from home and then worrying about going back and, allowing myself to release that whole outcome and control. I'm now working from home full time. I allowed the things to happen that I wanted to happen. And so if we're constantly like strangling what we're trying to achieve, it doesn't come as.
That's why surrendering and allowing and trusting is so important, because you gotta let it go.
Right.
It's given to you. It's going to show up. But if it's not, it's like, where are you cutting it off? Where are you not allowing it to blossom? And we're all meant to receive. And all the things that we're going through, it's serving you for something. There's something in that particular situation trying to teach you something. You just have to figure out what that something is. It's not, it's all magic. It's all magic.
It is magic. Yeah. And I just want to thank you so, so much for coming in here and sharing your gift. And where can the ladies find you?
Oh, well, I actually created this 12-week program called Own Your Magnetic Flow. So it's a 12-week program. You will have where we're going to be doing soul journeys. We're going to do Akashic clearings. We're going to have my support. We get together every week to really, what is that one particular thing that wants to come to life? We're going to do a heart's vision. So we're going to take you on a vision to see exactly what is it that wants to come to life right now in this moment. And we'll work through that. You'll also have like this mind movie with certain frequencies to kind of rewire your brain and realign you to the vision that is meant for you. So every month it'll be something different. We're going to work on, I always say love first, right? Because love and money vibe at the same frequency, more or less. And when you love yourself unconditionally and we open up this part of yourself, everything starts to fall in. So we were working on your self-care. Where are you allowing yourself to be unworthy? How are you moving through the world? How are you filling up your vessel? So we work on that. Then we're working on your boundaries. What are your non-negotiables? What are you allowing? Right? Because you set the tone. And when we put those things combined together, then we tap into your money. Where's the lack, the scarcity, the debt? Where's all of that? And we clear all of these energies up to open you up to really receive flow, everything that's meant to come in, right? Your magnetic flow, your innate flow. And so your innate flow is abundance.
Right.
In all realms. And so that's the new program I'm created and put out. They can reach me through Facebook. You can DM me or my website, www.luminousInnerWisdom.com, Instagram at SRA Dominguez.
You're all over.
I'm reachable. I'm reachable.
Would you drop your website in the comments once we're finished here? Because I want to check it out. So
yeah, please do. And I put a payment plan because payment plans are life. Okay.
Oh God.
Okay. And
Yeah.
yeah, because you know what? When you invest in yourself, you just opened up a whole new channel for yourself. It's like you opened up this channel, like, I'm worth this much money. And
Right.
if I'm worth this much money, I'm worth receiving this much money.
Right.
You know, and that I've learned that on a whole different level. So for me, investing in myself is always like, yes. And also because of God's like, you got to take them, like, okay, stop being so bossy. I got it. You know? I love it. And really deepening into your connection, right, with your higher self. Maybe, you know, if you want to connect with God, let's do that too, with Source Universe. It's so important, really, to connect with your team, your spiritual team. Because
right.
you're so wanted and needed. The world is waiting for you. Stop dimming your light.
I love it. And it's so spot on. I mean, I've worked with this. I mean, I've worked with you, and I will say, like, with 100% certainty, you would be blown away by being in this woman's presence, whether it's a group program or one-on-one. So you've definitely made a huge impact in my world, and I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I know that, you know, there's women in here who are going to watch this and feel the same way. So thanks again for coming on. And yeah, if you could just drop your website and Facebook profile group, whatever you want, in the comments, and then everyone can find you. And thank you again for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you, Mama. I appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me to be in your sacred space. It's truly an honor. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Love you. And I will see everyone next week. And it will end this. Stop streaming.